The next circuit which we'll try to understand is a modulo 8 counter, or the same circuit can be called as 3-bit up counter. See, of course, all these names will prevail the same thing. If I write instead of, I'll write 4-bit, if I write 3-bit, so the name will remain the same. Instead of writing 4, I'm just, so how many discrete states? If it is 3, that means 2 raised to power 3 is equal to m, so m will be equal to 8, so it will be a modulo 8 counter, modulo 8 counter. So this is also called as 3-bit up counter, counter, 3-bit up counter. And when we say up counter, because it is calculating in ascending order, that means it will count from 0 0 0 0 0 0 to 1 1 1, that means 0 to 7. So it is counting in ascending order, therefore it is called as 3-bit up counter. I'll just make you understand that 3-bit counter can be modified in the 4-bit counter circuit, which we have previously understood. So instead of 4 flip-flops, how many flip-flops we will need now? 3 flip-flops. So we just rub this off the 4th one. We don't need the 4th flip-flop. So this will be your, now this will become your MSB, right? Now how the count will start? The count will start from 0 0. No D is there, so D will be removed. D will not be your MSB. So now C is your MSB, so that count of D will not be there. So the count will start from 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 and 1 1 1. And at the end of the 7th clock pulse, that means the state of the circuit will be 1 1 1. At the end of the 8th clock pulse, the circuit will again go back to its initial condition, that means it will be 0 0 0 0. So total number of discrete states is 0 0 0 to 1 1 1. So total number of discrete states is 8. Therefore it is called as modulo 8 counter, mod 8 counter, or 3-bit up counter, or whatever be the name which you have to specify. Of course, now the timing diagram has to be modified. The timing diagram should have only 7 clock pulse. So I'm just rubbing it off from 7th clock pulse. And D will not be there. That's all. This is the timing diagram. This will be the timing diagram. A will depend upon clock. With each applied clock pulse, A will change from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. And B will depend upon A. Whenever A will go from 1 to 0, just draw the arrow mark and accordingly change the condition of B. And C will depend upon B, therefore draw arrow mark whenever B goes from 1 to 0, and there you change the condition of C. This will be the timing diagram of modulo 8 counter or 3-bit up counter. And this is how you have to explain. So you have to draw the circuit, explain 2-3 conditions, write the truth table, draw the timing diagram. You will get 4 marks for both the questions, if it is 4-bit or it is 3-bit. Now we will try to understand 3-bit down counter. We have to make a small modification in the circuit to make it 3-bit down counter. So I'll rub this off all these headlines, and instead of that we will just try to understand 3-bit down counter, counter, 3-bit down counter. So just now I made you explain what exactly you mean by up counter. Up counter means a counter which counts in ascending order. So what will be down count? Down counter, it will be a counter which will be count in descending order. Descending order means it will go from the highest value to the lowest value. That means the count should go from 1 1 1 to 0 0 0. Of course it will go from 7 to 0. Total number of discrete states will be 8. It will be called as modulo 8 counter, but it will count in the down state. So the only modification which has to be done in the circuit, you have to please see the circuit. See, for up counter what we did is, For up counter, Q output of the first flip-flop is connected as clock input for the second. Q output of the second flip-flop is connected as clock input for the next stage. The modification which has to be done to design a 3-bit down counter is now Q bar output of the first is connected as clock input for the second. Q bar output of second is connected as clock input for third. So this is the only modification which has to be done. Secondly, of course, while writing the truth table, the count should start from at the 0th clock pulse. That means when no clock pulse is applied, the state should be 1 1 1. Now remember, very important thing, that without giving clock pulse the output should be set. So for that we have this preset terminal. So without giving clock pulse, if you want to set the output to 1, you have to activate preset terminal of all the flip-flops. So when all the flip-flops preset terminals is activated, all the output will become 1. So Q output of all the flip-flops becomes 1. Therefore that means Q bar will be 0. Q bar will be 0. We know we don't need timing diagram for this circuit, that is down counter. We don't need, but if you want to design, you can design. We will try to understand that too. So initial condition, what is that? A is 1, B is 1, C is 1. Of course Q output of all the flip-flops is 1, therefore Q bar is 0. Now when the first clock pulse arrives, what happens is A goes from 1 to 0. So what happens to Q bar? Q bar goes from 0 to 1. Now Q bar is the clock input for the second, and clock is triggered when the clock goes from 1 to 0. What happens to Q bar? Q bar goes from 0 to 1. Are they same? No. That means flip-flop 2 will not get the clock pulse. If flip-flop 2 is not getting the clock pulse, will the flip-flop 2 toggle? No. There will be no change. B will remain 1. And if flip-flop 2 is not changing, flip-flop 3 will remain as it is. So what happens to B and C? Both remains 1. But what happens to A? A goes from 1 to 0. So at the end of the first clock pulse, the state will be 1 1 and A goes to 0. Right? Now as soon as A is 0, what happens to its Q bar? Q bar becomes 1. So when the second clock pulse is given, first flip-flop will toggle again. It will go from 0 to 1. Q bar will go from 1 to 0. As Q bar goes from 1 to 0, see the clock pulse. This is what is going to trigger the second flip-flop. So second flip-flop gets the clock pulse. As J and K is 1, it will toggle. That means B will go from 1 to 0, but its Q bar will go from 0 to 1. Will that have any effect on 3? Of course not. So at the end of the second clock pulse, 1 and 2 changes its state, 3 remains as it is. That means C remains as it is, B goes from 1 to 0, A goes from 0 to 1. So at the end of the second clock pulse, the state is 1 0 1. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. And when the third clock pulse is applied, again now what is the state? A is 1. That means Q bar will be 0. Q is 1, Q bar will be 0. What is B? B is 0. Q is 0, Q bar is 1. So when the next clock pulse arrives, third clock pulse arrives, A goes from 1 to 0. Q bar goes from 0 to 1. Will that have any effect on 2? Clock pulse does not match. Flip-flop 2 doesn't get triggered. So 2 will remain as it is, 3 will remain as it is. That means B will be 0, C will be 1, but A will go from 1 to 0. So at the end of the next clock pulse, C will remain as it is, B will be 0, A goes from 1 to 0. So at the end of the fourth clock pulse, the state is 1 0 0. So next fourth clock pulse, when it is applied, what will happen now? Now A is 0, so Q bar will be 1. So when A will fourth clock pulse is applied, A will go from 0 to 1, Q bar will go from 1 to 0. Similarly, as this is the clock input for the second flip-flop, will toggle. B will go from 0 to 1, Q bar will go from 1 to 0, 1 to 0. That means it will be acting as a clock input for the third. C will go from 1 to 0, Q bar will go from 0 to 1. So at the end of the 4 clock pulse, all flip-flops changes their state. So C becomes 0, B becomes 1 and A becomes 1. So At the end of the fourth clock pulse, C is 0. So if you see the binary counter, this is 1117, 1106, 1015, 1004 and 011. So at the end of the fifth clock pulse, it will be 010. At the end of the sixth clock pulse, it will be 001. At the end of the second clock pulse, the state will be 000. And at the end of the eighth clock pulse, it will again go back to its initial condition, that is 111. So total number of discrete state is 0 to 7, that is 8. So it is a modulo 8 counter, but now it will count down. So in an up counter, what we have concluded is that in an up counter, when the counter works as up counter when Q output of the previous stage is connected as clock input for the next stage, and the same counter works as down counter when Q bar output of the previous flip-flop is connected as clock input for the next stage. So this is the working of 3-bit down counter. Now we will try to understand a circuit which works as both up as well as down counter. The next circuit which we'll try to understand is 3-bit up down counter. In the previous video we understood how a circuit can be used as an up counter or it can be used as a down counter. The only difference between an up and down counter is if Q output of the previous stage is connected as clock input for the next stage, the circuit works as up counter, and if Q bar output of the previous flip-flop is connected as clock input for the next stage, it works as down counter. So now for 3-bit up counter, of course we have to design 3 flip-flops. So this is the first one. We have to use additional hardware to make sure that the circuit works as both up as well as down counter. So both J and K input is connected to 1. We have the preset, we have the clear Q bar. Output of the first one is called as A. Now at the output of the first, and there will be a negative edge triggered clock. This is the first one. At the output of the first, we will be having 2 AND gates. 2 AND gates, and output of this AND gate is connected to OR gate, and the output of OR gate will be the clock input, for the second. Of course again J and K, because we are using all flip-flops working in toggle mode. Q bar, again the output of Q and Q bar will be connected by AND gates. Output of this AND gate is connected by OR gate. The output of OR gates acts as clock input for the third flip-flop, which has preset and clear terminal Q bar. Out this is C, this is B, of course this will be A. Let us name the AND gates as 1, 2, 3, 4. Now see the controlling factor which has to be done. Either 1 and 3 is activated or it should be 2 and 4. So see the construction part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect 1 and 3 together. Connect 2 and 4 together, and between 1 and 3 and 2 and 4, that means the upper line and the lower line, we connect a NOT gate, and we call this as the control input, which will decide whether the circuit will work as up counter and down counter. You already know what is the difference in the construction part of up counter and down counter. Let us try to understand what happens when control input is given. So control input, if it is equal to 1. So what happens, control input is 1, that means upper line is 1, and through the NOT gate the lower line is 0. And you know the property of AND gate, if any one of the input is 0, the AND gate will be deactivated. So when control input is 1, that 1 is given to 1 and 3, whereas 0 is given to 2 and 4. That means 1 and 3 is activated, whereas 2 and 4 are deactivated. Again, what that inclines, that Q output of the first is the output. Of course the output of 1 and 3 will depend upon Q, and for the OR gate the other input is 0. because these AND gates are disabled. So output of 2 and 4 will be always 0. So for OR gate, there is one input as Q and the other input as 0. If Q is 1, the output is 1. If Q is 0, the output is 0. That means Q will be transferred to the output. That means when control input is 1, see how we have to write the explanation part. When control input is 1, AND gate 1 and 3 are activated, while AND gate 2 and 4 are deactivated. It is as if Q output of the previous stage is connected as clock input for the next stage. Q output of the previous stage is connected as clock input for the next stage. And you already know that when Q output is connected as clock input for the next stage, the counter works as up counter. Now suppose the control input is 0, so the upper lines become 0, the lower line become 1. Now AND gate 1 and 3 are deactivated, so output of 1 and 3 will be 0 and 2 or 4 will be activated. So the output of 2 and 4 will depend upon Q bar. So output of 2 and 4 will be Q bar. And for OR gate, one input is 0, the other input is Q bar. So output will of course depend upon Q bar. So how we'll write the explanation? When control input is 1, AND gate 1 and 3 are deactivated while 2 and 4 are activated, and it is as if Q bar output of the previous stage is connected as clock input for the next stage. Q bar output of the previous stage is connected as clock input for the next stage. The circuit works as down counter. So this is the working of 3-bit up down counter. Thank you. Hello students, in the previous class we were trying to understand application of flip-flops, that is counters. Number of flip-flops are connected together to design a circuit which counts incoming clock pulses. If you remember, we designed 4-bit binary counter, which is also called as modulo 16 counter, and there is a relationship between the number of flip-flops and the modulus of a counter. If the number of flip-flops are 4, what is the relation? The relation is 2 raised to power n. 2 raised to power n equals to m. So if where n is the number of flip-flop and m is the modulo of the counter. So if there is 3 flip-flops, modulo will be 8, 4 flip-flops, modulo will be 16, 5 flip-flops, modulo will be 32. And what is modulo? Modulo is the number of discrete state through which the counter goes. Now in this part we will try to understand counters. We will design counters only, but the counters will be in between. For example, as I said, the modulo will be either 8 or 16 or 32. Suppose you want to design a modulo 10 counter, that means the count is between 8 and 16. So there should be some mechanism so that the circuit starts counting from 0 to 10 discrete states. Of course, if you talk about decimal point, so it will be counting from 0 to 9. 0 to 9 is 10 discrete states. So it will count from 0 to 9, and after that it should reset back to 0, 0, 0. Such type of circuits has to be designed. So that type is called as modulo counter. So we will try to design 2 such circuits, modulo 10 counter and modulo 6 counter. So suppose you want to design a modulo 10 counter. Suppose you have been asked to design a modulo 10 counter. The same circuit is also called as decade counter. Decade stands for, decade means 10 discrete state it should have. So let us try to understand how many flip-flops will be used. Suppose if you take 2 flip-flops, so if n is equal to 2, m is equal to 4, how many states we want? We want 10 discrete states. Will that be a solution for that? Of course not. let us say n is equal to 3, so m will be equal to 8. Only 8 discrete states. What we want is, we want 10 discrete states. Of course this will not be a solution, we cannot use 3 flip-flops. Now if n is equal to 4, m will be equal to 16. M will be equal to 16. Of course in 16 modulo 16 counter we can have 10 discrete states, but we have to make sure that the circuit counts only from 0 to 9, that is only 10 discrete states. It should not go up to 0 to 15, that is 16 discrete states. It should not go, it should reset back to 0 0 0 at the end of the 10th clock pulse. So if we can design the circuit, it will work as modulo 10 counter. Now I will explain you how to design that circuit. So from this process we understood that you cannot use 2 flip-flop, you cannot use 3 flip-flop. Minimum number of flip-flops which has to be used is 4. So we have to use 4 JK master slave flip-flop working in toggle mode, right? So the flip-flops will have the state like this: D, C, B, A, and clock. When clock is 0, the count will be 0 0 0. So if you want to design a modulo 10 counter, the count should go up to, as I said, it should go up to decimal 9. So 0 to 9 will be 10 discrete states, and decimal 9 will be 1 0 0 1. So total number of discrete states will be 10, and at the end of the 10th clock pulse the circuit should reset. But what is the condition? What will be the condition at this point, 10th clock pulse? The count will keep on increasing, and after 1 0 0 1, decimal 10 will be represented by 1 0 1 0. So this is very important. At this point the circuit should reset. So every time you have been asked to design a modulo counter, first you will design the number of flip-flops. Now we can easily say that we cannot use n is equal to 2, that is 2 flip-flop. We cannot use n is equal to 3, so we have to use at least n is equal to 4, where m is equal to 16. So total modulo 16 will be modulus will be of the counter will be 16, but we will make sure that it should reset after the 10th clock pulse. From 0 to 9 it will count, and at the 10th clock pulse it should reset. See the circuit diagram. So this is the first part, this is the second part, the third part is drawing the circuit diagram. Now we have to design 4 JK master slave flip-flop. Of course 4 JK master slave flip-flop, they all working in toggle mode. So if you are working in toggle mode, that means J and K both should be connected to 1. For all the flip-flops, J and K should be connected to 1, so that the flip-flop works in toggle mode. And if you remember, toggle means if initially it is set, it will become reset, or if it is initially reset, it will become set. So Q and Q bar are the two outputs. So output of the first is connected as clock input for the second. Output of the second is connected as clock input for the third. Output of the third is connected as clock input for the fourth. And for the first, direct clock pulse will be applied. This is first, this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D, where A is LSB and D is MSB. So the circuit is similar to what we have designed for a 4-bit asynchronous counter, 4-bit binary counter, 4-bit ripple counter, modulo 16 counter, or mod 16 counter. The first counter circuit which we have designed the circuit exactly same. But if you keep the circuit exactly same, it will start counting from 0 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 1. We have already seen, and only after 1 1 1 1 it will go back to its initial state. So total number of discrete states will be 0 to 16, 0 to 15. Total number of discrete states will be 16. But what we want is, we want 10 discrete states. So what we will do is, we should check what should be the content of the counter at the end of the 10th clock pulse, where we have to reset the circuit. The count is DCBA is 1010. Now you have to look at the variables which are 1. So here the variable D or the output B, both are 1. So first what you do is connect all the clear terminal together. Of course, clear is for resetting the output. So clear terminals will be connected together, and it is connected to the output of a NAND gate. And what is the output of a NAND gate? A, B, Y, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So AND gate is exactly opposite to that of AND gate, opposite of AND gate. So multiplication inverse. So 0 into 0, 0, inverse 1. 0 into 1, 1, 0 into 1 is 0, inverse 1, 1 into 0, 0, inverse 1, 1 into 1, 1, inverse 0. So this is the output of a NAND gate. So we are using a NAND gate. Output of the NAND gate is connected to the clear terminal, and the input of the NAND gate is decided by this reset which I have bracketed. You have to check which variable is 1. So at this point D and B are 1. So connect D as one input and B as other input. So this is the condition. D is one input and B is other input. So this is the circuit diagram for modulo 10 counter. Let us try to understand by the truth table how exactly the circuit will operate. Now, truth table of modulo 10 counter. Let's say initially when clock is 0, DCBA is all 0. DCBA is all 0. Now see the input for the NAND gate. What is the input for the NAND gate? This is B and this is D. Both are 0. And what is the property of NAND gate? Just now we try to understand, it is inverse of multiplication. So inverse of multiplication, 0 into 0, 0, inverse 1. So this is 1. So NAND gate's output is 1. Now all these clear terminal are active low. That means it will be activated only when you give 0. What you are giving now? 1. So these terminals will be deactivated. So when the first clock pulse arrives, the first clock pulse when it goes from 1 to 0, the first flip-flop will toggle from 0 to 1. As it is going from 0 to 1, it has no effect on flip-flop 2. So flip-flop 2, 3, 4 will not change. So at the end of the first clock pulse, the state is 0, 0, 0, 1. Now again you check what is the condition of B and D. B and D still are 0. So both the inputs of the NAND gate is 0. Therefore the output is 1. If output is 1, clear terminal will be deactivated. Second clock pulse is applied. Second clock pulse, A will go from 1 to 0. B will go from 0 to 1, will have no effect on 3 and 4. So at the end of the second clock pulse, the state is D 0, 0, 1, 0. Now B has become 1, D has still 0. So B is 1, D is still 0. 1 and 0, the output will be, what is NAND gate's output? Inverse of multiplication. So 1 into 0, 0, inverse 1. So still it remains 1, so clear terminal will be deactivated. So now the circuit resembles the binary count. So with each applied clock pulse, the count will keep on increasing. So at the end of the third clock pulse, the state will be 0, 0, 1, 1. Still you can see D is 0, B is 1. If any one of the input is 0, the output will be 1 for a NAND gate. And if the output of the NAND gate is 1, clear terminal will be deactivated. Fourth, 0, 1, 0, 0. Again both the inputs are 0, the output of the NAND gate is 1. 5, 0, 1, 0, 1. Still D and B is 0. 6, 0, 1, 1, 0. Now again B has become 1, D is 0. Still D is 1 input is 0, so output of the NAND gate will be 1. 7, 0, 1, 1, 1. 8, 1, 0, 0, 0. At this point D becomes 1, B becomes 0. But again one input is 0, so output of the NAND gate is the output of the NAND gate is 1. So 9 1 0 0 1, and at the 10th clock pulse the state now will become 1 0 1 0. Now both B and D becomes 1. So when both the inputs becomes 1, what is this? Multiplication of 1 into 1 will be 1 inverse 0. As soon as this output of the NAND gate is 0, it is given to clear terminal of all the flip-flops, and the clear terminal is used to reset all the Q outputs. So all the Q outputs means A, B, C, D will be reset as soon as clear terminal is activated. So at the end of the 10th clock pulse, what happens is, of course the count will become 1 0 1 0, but as soon as the AND gate is activated, the output becomes 0, clear terminals are activated, all the outputs will be reset, so that the output is DCBA is 0 0 0 0. That means what is the total count? It is counting from 0 to 9, and at the end of the 10th clock pulse it is going back to its initial conditions. So the total number of discrete states here is 10 discrete states, 0 to 9, 10 discrete states. Therefore it is called as modulus of a counter. So whenever you have to you are asked to design a modulo counter, so first you decide the number of flip-flops, second you decide how many outputs it will have. Of course, if there is a 4 flip-flops, there will be 4 outputs. Third thing, you have to check how many, from which point to which point it will count. Of course, it will count from 0 to, suppose in case of in case of modulo 10 counter, it is counting from 0 to 9, and at the 10th clock pulse it will reset. So you write all the possible conditions, and then check at the 10th condition which variables are 1, connect those variables to the input of the NAND gate, output of the NAND gate connected to clear terminal of all the flip-flops, and exactly at the 10th clock pulse the circuit will reset. So total number of count will become 10. So this is how a modulo counter is designed. Thank you. Let us now again design one more modulo counter, say modulo 6 counter, modulo 6 counter. So again I'll tell you the number of steps which has to be followed. The first one is to decide the number of flip-flops. 2 raised to power n is equal to m. So 2 raised to power n is equal to modulo 6 is given. So now if you take n is equal to 2, m will be equal to 4. Of course not possible. N is equal to 3, if you take, m will be equal to 8. So in a modulo 8 counter you can easily design modulo 6 counter. So in case of modulo 6 counter, how many flip-flops we have to use? We have to use 3 flip-flops. So what will be the, how many outputs? 3 outputs, C, B, A, and this will be clock. And if it is a modulo 6 counter, it should count from 0 to 5. So the state will be 0 0 0, and 5 is 1 0 1. Total number of discrete states will be 6, and at the 6th condition it should reset. So what is the 6? 1 1 0, 6 states. So this is the point where the circuit should reset. So now what happens is, in the modulo 10 counter we designed 4 flip-flops. Now we require only 3 flip-flops. So the circuit will be like this. This is the modification which I am going to make in the circuit for this is your MSB. Now C is your MSB. Now you have to connect clear terminal of all the flip-flops. Output of the clear terminal should be connected to the NAND gate. NAND gate's output should be connected to the clear terminal, and the input for the NAND gate you have to decide by this bracket. You have to see which variable is 1. C and B are 1. So you connect C and you connect B. So now let us try to understand the working using the truth table. So see the condition. What happens is, as it is a normal binary counter, with each applied clock pulse the count will increase. Initially CBA is 0 0 0. So B and C both are 0, and if it is 0 the output of the NAND gate will be 1, and if it is 1 the clear terminals are deactivated. It will have no function to play in the operation of the flip-flop. So with each applied clock pulse, the count will increase. So first clock pulse 0 0 1. Again, what you can see, C and B is 0, the output of the NAND gate will remain 1. Second clock pulse 0 1 0. Now C is 0, B is 1, but still if any one of the input is 0, the output of the NAND gate will be 1. So clear terminal will be deactivated. Third 0 1 1, it remains same. 4 1 0 0. Now C has become 1, B is now 0. So if any one of the input is 0, the output of the NAND gate is 1. Clear terminal is deactivated. Fifth 1 0 1. Sixth 1 1 0. At this point, sixth, both the inputs becomes 1. So B and C both are 1. So output of the NAND gate will become 0. As soon as it becomes 0, all the clear terminal is activated, and the purpose of clear terminal is to reset Q output. Reset Q output means all the Q outputs will become 0. So at this point, all the Q outputs will be 0. So the circuit will now count from 0 to 5. The total number of discrete states is 66, and that is why it is called as modulo 6 counter. So you should be able to understand that for different modulo counter, different number of flip-flops are used, and it will have a different conditions for reset. So the reset conditions has to be checked like this, and then the variables which are 1 at that particular point should be connected to the input of the NAND gate. So this is how a modulo 6 counter and modulo 10 counter works. Thanks.